Hello everyone. I am Dragon. We continue to learn together, create a beautiful life and future. Today we will learn how to quickly build a local knowledge-based query application together. Zhuzhong uses the latest language model technology and retrieval enhanced generation RAG technology. Hope to bring relevant technologies to your own workplace. Everyone can learn these latest technologies. Back to your workplace, further thinking, combining application scenarios and carry out on-site development. This can bring you greater value at the same time, to make you a leader in innovative development within the organization. If you like it, please remember to give me a thumbs up and share publicly with more people. Alright, let's get started. Today's outline will be roughly divided into these 5 items. We will first demo this native LM and combining AI machine user experience. Next, briefly introduce what RNG is, explain the architecture of our solution, and what packages we need to install. We will explain the actual code disguised. First of all, here on the screen we need to mention, that is to say, in this native app inside here, we can do a normal QV. The biggest problem is that the language model inside, it won't have our precise QA inside our enterprise or what we want. So when I ask such a question, children born overseas to Taiwanese parents return to Taiwan, apply to answer in traditional Chinese. I am using the latest 7X model from MediaTek. You will see the result of this answer. But it seems right but not right. It doesn't seem quite correct either. He is some common response. But, basically, is it not very appropriate? Here then? Yes, go online to grab this official website here. Some correct answers here, including how to handle minor children and the procedures for adult children to go through. This is the detailed answer we want. Then this part needs to take our specific QA question and answer dataset. Combine it with RNG technology to achieve it. Okay, this is combined with RAG technology after. We can provide accurate answers in the same way. The same as the question is, using the model of MediaTek. So here we will get the information inside the correct answer we just mentioned. Also a good one. And this, in our library locally, is one of the QVS we need to build after returning to national after being listed. How should we handle it? If we today, when you get the so-called outside open private land and this great magic image B for when we ask questions, you will get an answer. This answer is more general, worth your attention. Mentioned here, if you alone lose the flag of your country, hope to regain nationality, generally need to follow the following steps. So here are the possible steps for you. So here also mention your country. So he also doesn't know what country you are from. So what he gives. Not like we just mentioned here. Saw it. Okay, I'll answer you a sentence about nationality, the number of the rules, etc. This is the current reflection model. Whether outside, paid or brought in locally, basically cannot give you the correct answer. This one is built by ourselves. This local LM uses the MediaTek model. In addition to the mentioned QA level earlier, we retrieve it into our own knowledge base so the same question can be submitted. Then we'll get the precise answer we want. Then this is the part 1 want to teach you how to write today. We have completed the execution. Everyone can see magical things happening. Our answer will then be visible. According to Article 15, Paragraph 1 of the Nationality Law. Those who have lost their Republic of China nationality in and the following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what about these? It is what I mentioned in my knowledge base. And after combining IG's technology, can totally help us present it. Isn't that amazing? Okay, then what? If you have a question later. Solutions for multiple needs. For example, you may in a question, not just asking a single question. You may have 2, 3, or 4 such requirements. Basically, it can also be based on this basic development to come up with new solutions. So here it is a tease. Then you can join my channel membership to get content on this aspect here. Or thank you for the support. Alright, then let me explain next. What is the basis for R? It is a technology that combines the retrieval mentioned here with the generation of natural language. So here we will show you a traditional LM for handling user dialogues and processes in a traditional way for everyone to see a general user. It will be in the input phase to raise his questions. For example, what is the definition of Taiwan's Labor Standards Act here? Okay, what happens after we enter the question? Then we'll continue the process of generating answers in the processing stage. So this model will do this parsing. And this model here, if we use the outside, you can go to the railings to take a picture of Claude, etc. Of course, if it is an open-source local model, possibly the latest Llama 3 or even the popular Mitra or the one more fluent in Chinese. This MediaTek's AI model. So these are to understand the intent of your user input. And then what generates this result, the generated answer? It gives the model the knowledge and patterns obtained during training. So from this everyone can easily understand. If these models do not have detailed data such as Taiwan's Labor Standards Act during training. So you can imagine the results you get. The result will not be very accurate. It's a very common answer. What else besides that? You may also experience the so-called illusion state. And this IG is one of the techniques to solve this illusion. Next then, let's take a look at what is this so-called illusion just like the example just now. Tell me what is the definition of the Taiwan Labor Standards Act. What about the model? Will give me this answer. This answer is also a seemingly correct answer. Looks like it's right. The marriage leave provisions in Taiwan's Labor Standards Act can be found in Article 50. Then we can look at the 50th article of our regulations in detail. Let's take a look at Article 50 of the Labor Standards Act. Refers to the maternity leave part. So the confusion between marriage leave and maternity leave is real. At this point, you will know this large language model. He generates answers for you. So this illusion will appear. This is a problem we often encounter. And because of this, so large language models speak initially. It is more suitable for the creative thinking part. Because it won't matter much if you say it wrong, but used for our own usual accurate answers. Or during corporate internal QA interactions. Very obvious, this traditional LM model cannot meet our needs. So, we will combine this part of the range to apply to our chatbot, including question answering systems and other needs for understanding and generating natural language. The part that needs a more precise, detailed answer. This technology can enhance user experience. Okay, next we will demonstrate the development process using RNG technology combined with user operation scenarios. Is it the same as before? The input phase tells me the definition of marriage leave under Taiwan's Labor Standards Act. Then we proceed in the IG step. First, we will go our own local self-built unlocking library inside. Go query it out. This has a big difference from just now. So where does the data for these queries come from? Such as the Taiwan Labor Standards Act. Is what we give him to drink. To see the internal index. Put it into this library. Then we retrieve the closest few answers. Then send it to our endorsement model inside to do the final result generation. He may do some random X. And then back to you. So in your place, we'll have hallucinations. It will become less. Almost without much illusion situations. Because the answer I gave you, it is retrieved from the limited database I defined and searched for data. So the process data will not differ too much. So this part can use our background information to generate more accurate information while also reducing the generation of illusory content. So everyone should understand like this. Know where reg is located. We will write the code later. The place I need to pay attention to. Alright, let's take a look at the explanation of the solution architecture next. In the part of user input, we still use our more commonly used one. Recently used the string package for front-end interface development and user interaction in teaching. Okay, in the retrieval technology
we use
part,
the
latest this MEXV voting large. This immersive model to do our already ordered unlocking technology. This was released recently. It is a very new technology. Alright, we are using a local language model. We use MediaTek's Breeze 7 pressure model. And finally output. We still use these strings to generate this output screen. Then we install several packages here. The first thing is to install our designated model one by one, and it has its syntax here. We use Euler-Horse method to do it. Everyone can simply copy it. Just paste it. Okay, let's go back to our local Big I model, using MediaTek's part. Of course, you can also use the latest 883. Next, we actually use this database that has been taught. Actually, we need to put it into this called vector library. Here, we use Omaha, Beep to store our vector data. So we need to install this package like a cool package into it. Alright, next we will proceed with actual exercise. Here is a simple flowchart of the whole program process. Simply draw the process diagram and everyone can refer to it. Alright, next, I will take everyone to implement it. Alright, here we mainly focus on code compression, so it won't knock them one by one. This will let everyone understand the whole development process and crude oil. Explaining the code part. First of all, we have re-uploaded the main framework of the code here. Alright, the first thing we need to load relevant use is cool. This package has 4 parts. The first one is import street. This is when we are doing this front-end interface. This cool part used for the UI. Next, what about our natural language processing? We use Euler-Horse to use OLOS cool. Then the vector cool part again, using this DB, and then we will use the pandas to do some processing. And because our QA data comes from your roommate file, the show data will also be provided for everyone to use directly. Alright, first we need to do an initialize. Do this initialization action. So what's inside the initialization? What do we need to do? Let's directly paste this horse within string, because it is a real-time interactive interface. So he will keep refreshing the data on this web page continuously. So we are trying not to let it refresh continuously. So we have some data that needs to be done when loaded for the first time. For example, in building a database part, we only need to do it once. If you don't do this, you will just keep eating resources. I will keep running. This is very bad. So here we are. We'll give a variable first before initializing. So make sure the system remembers. I've already started this initialization. Nothing is default without it. So what if it hasn't been initialized yet? Go ahead and initialize. So this is the solid base here. That is, build our vector crying part. That we integrate our sale data QV data, gently build it in the limited database part, by checking whether the policy of the first paragraph has seen it or not. If not, we'll go see the step database. It will run to the office group function to build our QV data. The QV data of AG used in AG's QV data. Okay, next we will share the code that needs to be written in our database with everyone. Then we explain the code. Okay, in the whole construction of this database, what kind of things do we need to do? The first one, we need to first interact our vector library with the client and database. We need to bring up this client. Okay, we use this comma here, TV point colon this object. Build it first. Then I will specify my path, because we use our own organized QA. Then I called it QA50. I have prepared 50 QV questions. Put it in as part of my internal knowledge base for retrieval. So I hope I still start with awe, because you need to budget more time in between. Okay, we will read again in this data, because there are no headers in my Excel. So in this way, black equals directly read it in. Alright, after entering we are starting with the first thing to do. We have established with the limited cool and established with this colon. We'll get rid of it. Using this getOut create relation function. Build my cool part. I can give it a name vector library name. My name is demo x good. So this means when it is not built new yet, it will default to help me explain it. So when I already exist, it will then go get or help me update. So you can just go in this direction. After Manager Lin completes this, I will go through every piece of information in my Excel, read it out, and do the so-called embedded to do this vector way. Store it in this repository. So what does this code do? That's just data read from Shui River. So he fills the data inside one by one to create this feed-in scene. Convert the information of the vector cool converted into the vector cool into our vector library. At enter one by one and do the end action of the action. Then mention here how to embed text and vectors added to my collection. This collection means adding it in good. Then what? Here we will put a note indicating that I have completed it. So like this. When the code is constantly messy, he won't repeat the hard throat action. This is an efficiency save. There are more so next, because I need to call this collection, which is the search cool part. So I might as well put it directly into ST_SessionPoint step to put it into this temporary area. So then you can directly call this. Okay, this is the part setting up the database. Okay, what's next? We also need to do one more thing here. It is to call this curse client function. This part is relatively simple. Just some time to use it. Penetrate this Comico line. Put my new client strength. This will skip directly. Okay, next let's take a look at our main code part. The main part of the main code is to construct our UI and handle user events part. Because we modularized it, so basically the writing part won't be that much. So when my program enters this endpoint, it comes here. I will first do the initialization thing. It's the front end here, the initial bad part, and then build my vector library. Okay, next is my UI part O. This UI means my first LM family basic knowledge question and answer. BRT, then you BRT don't mind either. Then ask. Oh, that's your header. Then I need the user to enter. What question does he want to ask? So I'll use st_pointer_aria to input. Let him create an input block. Then I will create and when the user hits send, I will judge when the user has typed something. Make a call. What we need to do is handle the query and answering parts. He calls the handle user input direction to do that handle user. Input method. Doing retrieval and reply. The answering part, let's directly paste the code. Alright, first thing he will do is to take our user input. It is the user's prompt for asking questions. It also first makes this vector painting. Get this vectorized value. Then match the quantified values with the knowledge base collection that was previously accessed. Which means, feel free to match which gives relevant values. So what is my result here? Equals 3 means I grabbed this library here, with my query being the part closest to the user's question. 3Q3 datasets. Well, let's return it. And if you need to adjust the 5 honest parts, there is no problem. Okay, next, Here we will get the most relevant this when taking the relevant documents and then put the first relevant document into the data variable. What do I do next? To call my local big language model. So what about here? I use this as a MediaTek Wisteria model. And here you can also switch to using Llama Mountain. If you have downloaded it, you can change it here. Use your favorite model as you like, because I am using Chinese. So I hope I still start with AW, because it is Chineseized. This is called this adjustment, and it will be a little more understandable. So what's next in my parameter? These you can just copy and follow directly. Priority to use my data. What is this data? This data is my query here. Retrieve the precise content obtained from my locked library and place it in my prime. Then what about this model? Through it. Note to all response Toiser and use Chinese to answer. So what is my prompt question? It is the question the user enters. I'll place it here for the Big Eye model to match the question with the search content. Alright, you can see here is the key of this time. Okay, the content processed by the large language model does not come from the model itself, but from mine. This is the result obtained from my vector library here. Let her go back and process. So this solution will reduce the generation of our illusion. Then finally we put this answer displayed on the web page. We use our ST-right universal symbol for output. Above here, this time the city's development code is also placed at the bottom of the video. Okay, everyone can go directly to call and use it. Hope today's tutorial can help you. Hope you can bring relevant skills to your own workplace. Then go ahead and put it into use. The above is today's melting sharing. Finally, please don't forget to give it a like and share. You can also use super thanks or join my channel membership to thank the creator for spending time making it. Yes, rich content. This is the most substantial help to me. Goodbye, see you next time. Let me meet. The same path, the same love, the same heart. Thank you for having you, my brother. Rain or shine, we help each other. Moved by this true emotion, sincerity to each other.